Hi, welcome to the demo of Easy Expense Management Made Easy. My name is Steve Wasula. I work with a company called Applied Concepts. We developed the application. I'm a sales productivity consultant at Salesforce.com certified consultant and the actual developer of the application. Before I get started on the demo of the application, I want to tell you briefly about Applied Concepts. We are a Salesforce. We're a sales performance productivity firm. We're a Salesforce.com premier consulting partner. We focus on Salesforce.com implementations, Force.com development, and App Exchange applications. In addition, we do work with process design and refinement in sales, management, and customer service. And we also specialize in sales management and customer service training, focusing on making your sales management more effective, teaching your salespeople how to optimize their territories, their accounts, and their opportunities, teaching new hires basic selling skills as well as teaching executives selling skills, and also teleprospecting, telesales, and customer service skills. So let's take a look at what Easy Expense can do for your organization. Let's go ahead and start the demo. And in order to get Easy Expense, you can go to the Salesforce.com App Exchange, do a search for Easy Expense, and then you can test drive the application, or you can get the application by clicking Get It Now, and it'll install into your organization. It's a completely native application, meaning it's built entirely within Salesforce.com, with all the data being included and kept within your organization at all times, with no third-party no call-outs to any third-party applications. So let's take a look at what Easy Expense can do for your organization. So I'm logged into the demonstration organization of Easy Expense. And Easy Expense will install several components. It'll install an Expenses tab, an Expense Reports tab, and an Expense Categories tab. The Expense Categories tab is the tab that your financial people will use to configure all the expense categories that your organization wants to track. The purpose behind Easy Expense is to allow you to actually manage all of your company's expenses within Salesforce.com. And so you can track all expenses regardless of what type of expense they are. You can create whatever expense categories you want, so you can do easy integration with your existing financial system. And if you don't have an existing integration with your financial system, we do provide you, as part of the install, a preloaded, a predefined categories and subcategories files that you can load into Easy Expense to create the category list that you want. So once your expense categories are set up, then what you can do is you can either start creating expenses for your organization. If you're a small business, you can manage all of your expenses in here. What we see with larger businesses is that they use the system primarily for expense report management. Most large organizations have a very arcane and non-automated methodology for tracking expense reports, which is typically someone fills out a paper sheet or fills out an Excel spreadsheet, prints it out, and then has a signature put on it, and then hands it to someone in finance or their manager to sign and then approve it. The idea behind Easy Expense is that all of your expenses and your expense reports incurred by your sales team can be tracked within a centralized organization, so that you can not only apply some automation to it, but the data entry is faster and easier. And then you have a centralized repository where sales management can actually track their expenses in real time. In addition, we give you the ability to associate expenses with the actual accounts, the actual companies that you're spending money at, so you can identify where you may be able to save money by negotiating volume discounts, and you can also tie expense reports actually directly back to opportunities, so you can track the actual cost of sale for a particular deal. So let's take you through real quick how you create an expense report. If I was a salesperson on the road and I had just taken, say, a trip to Charlotte, or let's say I took a trip to San Antonio, I would go in, I would create a new expense report. I would click on here on trip to San Antonio, and then I'd be able to create my expenses in here. So let's go ahead and log in as as someone who can actually edit the information. So I create my trip to Miami. I've got my trip to Miami and I need to add a new expense. So I simply click on New Expense, and what I can do is I can fill out my expenses in here. I get a pick list of expense subcategories, which will automatically associate it with the category. Let's say this was airfare. Then I can pick the airline that I flew on. Let's see if there's a Delta Airlines. There is a Delta, so I can pick that it was Delta. I took this trip on, let's say, December 1st, and it cost me $550 airfare. All right, and then I go ahead and save that. So now I have an expense report. It'll take me to the expense itself. If I go back to my expense report, I can see all my expenses that I've submitted or created for that. You can see I just entered a Delta airfare in the amount of $550. If I go back for time purposes, I can actually edit all my expenses at one time. And I can also I can edit all my expenses at one time. I can also add multiple expenses at the same time. And so once my expense reports are created, I can click on Submit, Approve. I can click on Submit to submit it to my manager, or I can, and my manager, when they receive it, can approve it or reject it. And then if I need to print it out and give it to someone in finance, I can click on Printable View. And then I get a print-ready version PDF copy of my expense report ready for signature to my manager. And that is fundamentally how Easy Expense works. If you have any questions about Easy Expense, please feel free to contact Applied Concepts Institute. Our website is www.salesoptimizer.com, and our phone number is 407-389-6600, or you can contact me directly, Steve Wasula, 407-252-0020. Thank you very much.